Talent is equally distributed, but opportunity and luck are not. Excited yet jittery, that's how I felt as I entered a sprawling apartment complex on the outskirts of Vadodara, India. Dirt caked the walls of the buildings, vibrant clothes hung from strings outside the small units. Children played on the uneven road strewn with potholes. Suddenly everything stopped. All eyes were on me, the 13-year-old boy with a Nike t-shirt, sitting in the passenger seat of a bright white four-door sedan, eyes and mouth wide open. In shock. Yes, I had seen poverty, the homeless in Boston, New York City, London, and they all struck a chord in my heart. But this was different. This was my first time witnessing the severe poverty of this world. It pries your eyes open. So why was I there? I was there to teach those kids English and math, and I approached that apartment complex with the confidence and pride of someone from a first world country. Nervous? Yes, but also with a strong sense of self-worth. So I cautiously stepped out of the car, walked up the steps to the third floor of Building A. There was excited chatter as I entered the small apartment, 17 bright faces staring at me, one of which I remember with unusual clarity. Deep. Deep was one of the students that I would be teaching for the next few weeks. Although only 7 years old, he would quickly become the leader of the class. He was not the oldest, he was not the smartest, but he had that special something. He would translate from Gujarati, the local language, to Hindi, the language that I speak. He was vocal, asking questions, helping others, actively participating. He had that desire to learn and to succeed. I could imagine Deep growing up to become the CEO of an important company one day. You know, the way we invest in companies to see them rise, I would want to invest in Deep to see him rise as a person. But, and there's a big but, it's not just about talent. When born under an unlucky star, talent can mean absolutely nothing. Now let me tell you about someone both talented and lucky, whom we read about often. His name is Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. He went to Stanford, and before that, the Indian Institute of Technology, both a result of hard work and tremendous talent, no doubt. In our meritocratic world, the analysis of success usually stops there. But Sundar Pichai was not born poor. He did not grow up in a slum where hunger pervades everything. No, that's called luck, the roll of your dice at birth. Sundar Pichai had the chance to utilize his talents. His circumstances gave him the opportunity to excel. Deep, on the other hand, was born so unlucky, so poor, there is little he can do to change his outcome. The sad reality is that his context, the opportunities he is presented with, will probably force him to leave school at a young age, work to provide for his family, and be stuck in that unfortunate cycle of poverty for his lifetime. Context and opportunity. Those are the key elements that so often separate destinies into a Pichai or a Deep. Not talent, not character, but context and opportunity. Think about it. There's so much talent around this world, but society is only picking up the very lucky. It's like hunting for diamonds by only looking at what's on the topsoil. Let me give you another example. On that same trip, I met another profound mind. He was a 13-year-old tour guide that knew Spanish, French, Hindi, Russian, and gave me and my brother the entire tour in fluent English. There he was, a 13-year-old polyglot in the slums of India. Now, how's the world going to utilize this talent? Probably not that well. In modern society, we don't recognize the role circumstance and privilege play when it comes to our success. We celebrate the individual. And while it is important to celebrate the merit of our talent, our drive, and our determination, we seem to forget about the happenstance that brought us there. This type of thinking tears society apart. It alienates the less fortunate and diminishes our ability to feel empathy for each other. Yes, to a certain extent, our success is a result of our own actions. But given a middle-class upbringing, where would someone like Deep be? What if he was like me? What if his parents emigrated to the United States? What if he was born in Boston, had the privilege of going to a private school like St. John's Prep? I'd like to think of myself as an accomplished student. I have good grades, I play sports, but does that make me better than someone like Deep? No, I was lucky. Deep was very unlucky. My precious time in India gave me humility, to see the deck of cards that I was handed. I learned that the key to empathy, to any sort of empathy, is being grateful. And the underlying element of being grateful is understanding that so much of what we have was by chance. Luck shapes our success. When we recognize the stark difference between these two terms, better and luckier, maybe we can begin to feel some sort of empathy for each other. Once we see life, see those around us through this lens, it brings us together, increasing our sense of kinship and healing our divide. Now, what would it look like when everyone understands with total clarity the role luck and circumstance have played in their lives? To that end, we return to India, to the kids who have been dealt the worst hand in life. The same kids in that cramped 200-square-foot apartment where I taught. They knew that their luck had placed them in one of the worst situations possible. Materially, they had close to nothing. But in a sense of love, they had everything. Community, friendship, hope. That was all that they could count on, and they were happy with it, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of whatever background they came from. They loved each other, helped each other, had empathy for each other, because they were all in it together, for better or for worse. I still vividly remember my last day teaching them. When I walked into the class that day, I could hear them screaming, "Ansh is here, Ansh is here," smiles plastered across their faces. As that last class came to a close, they came up to me and handed me a paper circle, 2 folded straps hanging down from the side. In Hindi, they said, "We wanted to give you something before you left. We could not buy you a watch, so we made you this instead." And 3 years later, this watch, the same paper watch made from the hands of the children born to India's slums, is pinned to the wall of my bedroom that contains a bed to sleep in, a pillow to rest my head on, a desk to study at. And this watch serves as a reminder that no matter how far I get, how successful I become, I was just born in the right place at the right time. I was lucky. Thank you.